What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we've got another live fantasy football mock draft for you back on ESPN with a 10-team full PPR mock where we'll be selecting 6th overall. Should be really interesting. And while we wait for this thing to kick off, a quick reminder, if you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear in the comment section, do you agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have. We'll do our best to answer them all. But with that being said, let's take a look at this draft. It is officially underway. The 101 is Christian McCaffrey. Pretty much, I'd say, like a lot of us expected. No need to get cute here. McCaffrey having the number one by far running back on a great offense. As long as he's healthy, the guy will carry you with 20-plus points in PPR pretty much every single week. So that is an easy selection, followed by CeeDee Lamb. And then, Breece Hall goes at the 103. I personally like to see that. You know, I'm a big believer of the top 3 running backs here for these current rankings as they stand with McCaffrey, Breece Hall, and Bijan Robinson. Now here, you know, we could get a little bit cute, if you will. I think there's a chance that Zamir Gibbs or Kyren Williams falls to us. I like Bijan Robinson. You know, I mentioned it before with the top 3 running backs. I'm a big believer in all 3 of them. I do think McCaffrey is in his own kind of category. Bijan, Breece Hall to me are interchangeable. I personally have Breece a little bit higher. You know, I look at what he did last year when everything was stacked against him, and now you get Aaron Rodgers back. It's tough not to really like his situation. But again, Bijan Robinson is right there behind him as well, in my personal opinion. But the reason I went Bijan and maybe not another wide receiver, I was looking at the list of wide receivers, and it was Amon-Ra, Justin Jefferson, who, you know, I'm getting lower and lower on Justin Jefferson as the offseason is kind of progressing. Like, I'd rather have Amon-Ra, I'd rather have Puka, I'd rather have Garrett Wilson. And, you know, I looked at this list of wide receivers, and I said, you know, okay, if we go with one of these wide receivers, I was mainly looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown. That would have been the pick for me if it was a wide receiver. But then I was a little bit nervous about potentially stacking Amon-Ra and Zamir Gibbs. So that was kind of weighing on me a little bit. Now, to me, the perfect scenario would be Garrett Wilson falling to me in 2 more picks, because I also potentially would have selected him at the 106. I'm assuming it won't happen. There goes Zamir Gibbs. There goes Saquon Barkley. There goes Garrett Wilson. And man, that hurts. That hurts. So let's look at the pick history here a little bit. You know, to start off the second round, Puka, Zamir Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, Garrett Wilson. I think right now, Kyren Williams would be the selection. Like, I'm looking at these wide receivers. I'm not getting really too excited about any of them. I think there's a chance Drake London drops to us in the 3rd round, and I'd feel a little bit better about having Bijan and Drake London if I'm at least investing a 3rd round pick in Drake London. You know, it's a similar type of situation with Amon-Ra and Zamir Gibbs. Basically stacking any 2 running backs, wide receiver, running back, tight end type of deal, where one of the guys isn't a quarterback. You're really over, you know, doing it with your exposure to that offense. One bad day, one bad week offensively, and especially if those 2 guys were your 1st and 2nd pick respectively, 1st and 2nd round pick respectively, I should say, then there's a pretty damn good chance that you're not winning that week. So that's kind of the thought process there, but I still think we're doing a good job of taking like best player available as it comes. I've gone running back heavy here, and I'm not going to lie to you, I think that we're going to have a really good selection of running backs still in the 3rd round if we really want to take this up a notch. But let's actually take a deeper dive at the pick history. The 1st round, I mean, we kind of mentioned it, right? I'll go through it real quick again, though. McCaffrey, CeeDee, Breece Hall, Tyreek, Jamar Chase, Bijan, our selection, and Amon-Ra. We were debating Amon-Ra. Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Jonathan Taylor. Interesting to see Taylor go ahead of Barkley and Zamir Gibbs. Then in the 2nd round, Puka, Zamir Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, Garrett Wilson. Oh man, if we had started out again with Garrett Wilson and Bijan, this would have been bonkers. I think we would have knocked it out of the park. Then Kyron Williams, then which was our selection: Devontae Adams, Pacheco, Derrick Henry, Marvin Harrison. So again, Marvin Harrison in these ESPN leagues ranked a little bit lower. You have a chance of getting him at the end of the second round. Sometimes I've even seen early third round. Then Stephon Diggs, and then in the third round, Etienne, A-Chain, Olave, and Drake London. Joe Mixon just got selected, so we're on the clock now. We can go a couple different directions. We could go with another running back if we really wanted to. If I went with another running back, it'd probably be Rashad White or Alvin Kamara. But again, I think there's a decent chance that one of those guys can fall to us. So I'm just going to select a guy, a wide receiver, that I think is a steady force in Michael Pittman, that had a really good year last year, and that I think can, at least come close to duplicating those efforts. Third round selection on him. And then, Nico Collins was also up for debate. I like him. I really am curious how that situation in Houston with all those wide receivers is gonna pan out. Like, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, and Tank Dell. You've also got Schultz there. So a lot of options. And, sometimes that just, it's a great real life situation, but for fantasy football, unless one of those guys is getting force-fed the football, and I feel like, again, they're all skilled in their own way, that it's going to be spread out. Like, it's going to be kind of a Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd type of situation from years past. Question is, can Nico Collins be that Jamar Chase player week in and week out? I'm personally not sure about that. So, that's kind of my thought process as to why sometimes I'm a little bit hesitant with Nico Collins and those Houston wide receivers. Looking again at this pick history, third round after our Michael Pittman selection, Travis Kelce, okay. First tight end selected, Mike Evans, Nico Collins, Sam Laporta. Second tight end selected at the end of the third round. Then Josh Jacobs. I like Josh Jacobs. I think him going to Green Bay is going to be a good thing for him. And I think he can do similar things like we saw Aaron Jones, but you stretch it out for a fully healthy season. So I am excited about that, but I also do like Rashad White. I don't mind Alvin Kamara, right? So if we start with 3 out of our first 4 picks being running backs, some might call that bold and full PPR, but then we have the running back position locked down. And I still think there's really good value on wide receivers in the latter rounds. Like right now, if I'm going wide receiver, I'm probably going Jalen Waddle. I'd love Cooper Kupp, but again, I've already got Kyron Williams. Something to think about. Malik Neighbors is also intriguing, right? George Pickens, who I love. So DJ Moore, we just got sniped on Rashad White. I was probably going to go with him, honestly. Alvin Kamara is in consideration, but I think we can do, let's just play it with a balanced approach. I'm going to go Jalen Waddle here or DJ Moore. I'll probably go Jalen Waddle. Again, I know he's playing opposite Tyreek Hill, but in Chicago, you've got a situation where there's so many weapons. You have got Keenan Allen. You have got Rome Odunze. I know people are automatically saying DJ Moore is going to be the top guy, but I could see a world where, he doesn't come close to reproducing the numbers from last year. Would you be shocked if Keenan Allen starts out the season as the number 1 wide receiver? I wouldn't be. And then, again, it's going to be a situation where there's going to be up and down weeks, similar to the Houston wide receiver room. Great real-life situation for fantasy. Sometimes you could be left scratching your head in terms of who to start. So, do want to point that out there. I would have gone Rashad White in the with that pick if we didn't get sniped on it. But again, I think Jalen Waddle in the middle of the 4th round isn't a bad consolation price. Alvin Kamara went immediately afterwards, followed by Josh Allen, DJ Moore, Patrick Mahomes. Let's see. I think that was Josh Allen was the first quarterback selected, and it happened all the way at the end of the 4th round. The way this draft played out with the quarterbacks is the way I would treat the quarterback position. I don't place that highly of a value on it. I'd much rather in the first 3 rounds go with running back, wide receiver positions that I think are true difference makers. And then quarterback we can figure out later. But there is a little bit of a quarterback run beginning now. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, C.J. Stroud over Jalen Hurts. Interesting. After Patrick Mahomes, James Cook, Cooper Kupp. Let's give you the pick history view a little bit differently here. So 5th round, Cooper Kupp, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson ahead of, folks, Anthony Richardson ahead of Jalen Hurts? Really? That is interesting. That is interesting to me. So here, what I'm looking at 2 positions. I'm looking at potentially Trey McBride, and then I'm also looking potentially at George Pickens. I think there's a chance that George Pickens falls to us. Mark Andrews just got selected. I mean, Jalen Hurts is tempting. I'm not going to lie to you to get that advantage at the quarterback position. But again, I think it's much easier to find a very serviceable quarterback later on as opposed to a really good tight end like Trey McBride in the later rounds. So I went with Trey McBride, and I guarantee you Jalen Hurts will be selected here shortly. So, the next best group of quarterbacks, you got Jalen, Lamar, Dak, Joe Burrow. So we'll see if one of those guys drops to us, what we might be tempted to do. Like I mentioned, we went with Trey McBride, so we've got our tight end situation figured out. And then Jalen Hurts goes with the 8th pick in the 5th round, so a full round after Josh Allen. This is why I like to not be the first person that pulls the trigger on that first quarterback. I do think it's like a 3-4. You could argue no, but let's go with Jalen. Let's go with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes in the tier 1 category of quarterbacks. And I think whichever one you end up with, you're going to be fine. And the fact that you can get probably one of them a full round later after the first one is selected, to me, is the much better value. I've always said that. Malik Neighbors also was tempting. I'm not going to lie to you, but I think here in the next round, you compare prospects like Pickens or Neighbors. I'd rather go George Pickens. I think that he is the better selection. I think we know what we're going to get with him. So, he's been producing even with quarterbacks like Kenny Pickett. And now that you've got an upgrade with Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, I'm really excited about George Pickens. So just hoping that he makes it back to us. I'm going to queue him up here just to be safe. And next, we can kind of take a look at the other selections. So Kyler Murray, Kenneth Walker, some of those quarterbacks starting to go. Yeah, Lamar Jackson, Kyler. So can't say I'm too shocked. We're really close to selecting George Pickens here. I'd be very happy with him as my flex. That's the way it's panning out right now. In the next round, if we can get Zamir White, I wouldn't be mad at that either. Kind of third running back, break glass in case of emergency type of deal. And I think that he does have the upside. Oh my God, you got to be kidding me. We just got sniped on George Pickens. What are the chances? Wow. Man, that really threw me off. That is unfortunate. Okay. Well, let's go with Zamir White. I'm going to go with, like I said, a guy that I believe in with Zamir White. So getting him, but wow, that breaks my heart. Having George Pickens sniped right before we got a chance to make a selection. Would have liked the look of this roster, definitely more so if we had George Pickens. And then in the 7th round, even if we didn't get Zamir White, there's other names here like James Conner, Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, so Zach Moss, right? Man, that's brutal. We've been sniped now twice here, I believe, in the 3rd round on Rachaad White. And then, let me double check if that's the case. No, not in the 3rd round. In the 4th round. Wow, yeah, in the 4th round, Rachaad White. But, I mean, that would have been tremendous value either way. So he dropped more than he should have. So yeah, we got sniped on Rashad White, and we also got sniped on George Pickens. Tough, tough. No other way to slice it. So d- this team could have looked a bit different, um, but I still think we've done an all right job at pivoting in each of those scenarios. You know, in the fourth round, we got Jalen Waddle, I believe. Let me just double check that. Yeah, I mean, we got Jalen Waddle. We needed a number 2 wide receiver. Here I got Zamir White. I wanted to get some more running back depth. So it's not the end of the world, right? Now looking at these positions, T. Higgins is the number 2 wide receiver in Cincy with Tyler Boyd gone. Can he finally put it all together and have like a entire season type of solid production, and it's not up and down, not games where he goose eggs you multiple times during the year? Calvin Ridley just got selected with a second pick in the 7th round. Keenan Allen is still there. T. Higgins just got selected. Man, I feel like as soon as we mention the name, the guy is selected. The guy is drafted. So, I mean, I guess I could go with Amari Cooper or Terry McLaurin. Like, I've been a big believer of Terry McLaurin in these middle rounds. I think that he can go ahead and improve on his production from years prior. And even with a rookie quarterback, I like this upside of the rookie quarterback in place. Ooh, but Christian Kirk is also there. I think Christian Kirk is actually a little bit more of a safer selection. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Christian Kirk here. We need another wide receiver. I don't mind how that panned out. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay, so we got Christian Kirk as a bench guy. It could potentially be the flex play over Zamir White. And doesn't look too bad. Okay. I think we're doing an all right job of kind of patching this together here in the later rounds when some of the options that we were targeting aren't necessarily available. But I think this has kind of turned into, balanced type of roster, right? Bijan, Kyron Williams. So definitely the strength of our team is running back. Then wide receiver, I do think we have stability at the wide receiver position. Like no true like a top 10 wide receiver. I get it. But I think all 3 of the guys we have can be top 20 wide receivers: Pittman, Waddle, Christian Kirk, right? We've got a arguably top 5 tight end at with Trey McBride. And then Zamir White, potential breakout at the running back position with no more Josh Jacobs. That was my logic there. And now let's see what happens here at the current situation. Dak Prescott is also still available. That's interesting. If he's there, I might just snag him now and have that quarterback position just taken care of. I really do like Aaron Rodgers. I will say that. I try and mention it every single draft that I do. I just think the value is tremendous there. And, I think he's going to have like a Brady-esque type of season in Tampa his first year where he, against all odds, age and everything, new system, he puts up a top 5 quarterback season for fantasy football purposes. So, I think getting Aaron Rodgers in the later rounds is a really, really nice bet. Now, here we've got one more selection until it is our turn. Running back. I'm not going to lie, I would have been tempted by James Conner and David Montgomery, but no longer options. So here, maybe we just go with Dak Prescott. Terry McLaurin is still there, actually. I might just go Terry McLaurin here. I might go Terry McLaurin and then queue up one of those quarterbacks that I mentioned and just, there goes Dak Prescott. Okay, well, so Dak Prescott, not an option for us. We're going Terry McLaurin, continue to add wide receivers. And, we will get Aaron Rodgers. I have zero problem with that. He is queued up for us. At running back, let us maybe queue up Zach Moss. I don't mind Zach Moss starting running back, right? I know some people are more of the camp of Chase Brown, but to me, after seeing what Zach Moss did last year, I'm giving him the edge personally. That's the running back I bet on in that backfield personally. So yeah, I mean we've got our bench two guys deep. So Zach Moss just got drafted, so that will not be a possibility for us. But it's all right. Yeah, I think at this point we've got Aaron Rodgers queued up. So, kind of fill in the blanks. Aaron Rodgers, Bijan, Kyren Williams, Pittman, Jalen Waddle, McBride, Zamir White, Kirk, McLaurin. I think overall, like a solid roster, it can compete. And if one of these guys breaks out like we expect with McLaurin, with Zamir White, and the other guys produce like expected, then this is a team that can contend. But let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe. Give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Any questions you guys might have, again, we'll do our best to answer them all. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.